Hi, folks. Chris Voss here from the ChrisVossShow.com, the ChrisVossShow.com. Hey, we're coming here with another podcast. We certainly appreciate you tuning in. Thanks for being here. Please refer the show to your friends, neighbors, relatives. They can go to the CVPN.com or Chris Voss Podcast Network. They can subscribe to, all the different podcast syndications that we have out there. There's Spotify, iTunes, of course, Google Play, Luminary. There's this iHeartRadio. Wow, we're like everywhere on every app you can get. So tell your friends, neighbors, relatives, pool boys, mistresses, tell them to sign up because nothing's better than spending time with your friends and listening to the Chris Voss Show. At least that's what, I don't know, I just made up. Anyway, thanks for tuning in, folks. We got an excellent guest, as always, and this is from Infocom 2019. You probably saw some of our coverage from it. They're in Orlando, Florida. We profiled a number of really exciting companies, really awesome products that will blow your mind, and I think we'll be reviewing a lot of them here at the Chris Voss Show. We've already got some of them, and we now have with us live on the show Clint Hoffman. He's the CEO at Kramer Electronics US, and he has been in the pro AV industry since 1985. He began his career at the Pro AV dealership in New Jersey. He spent many years working at manufacturers including Sony, Panasonic, and Mitsubishi, serving in a variety of sales, operations, product development, and marketing solutions. Welcome to the show, Clint. How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing great, Chris. I think everybody has an idea that I'm fairly old, but that's all right.
Well, that makes two of us, doesn't it? A bunch of old farts on the show, but that's okay.
I think the bad part about saying I've been doing this for like 35 years. It's like, wow, it just dates you.
Well, at least we know a lot. I wish I could know as much as I know now and have my youth again. Youth is wasted on the young. I like to say. I don't know who coined that term.
Exactly.
But
we're wise now.
We're wise, and we can't feel our legs. So there's and other body parts for that matter. So Clint, tell us a little bit before we get into Kramer, Kramer US, Kramer Electronics US. You can go to their website too if you want to check it out during the show at KramerAV.com. Tell us a little bit more about yourself. Like what got you on this journey, took you down this road? What got you into audiovisual in the first place, I guess?
Well, I thought that when I was coming out of school that I wanted to make movies and be a director and that kind of stuff. So went out to California for college and, ended up getting my degree and realizing that, that's just not something back at that time you just did. It just didn't come to you. And so I'm back in New Jersey, having gone out to school in California, and I found an ad for what was at the time a video dealership, Video Corporation of America in Somerset, New Jersey. And I went down, checked it out, and I've been a captive member of the pro AV industry ever since.
Well, it's got to be a lot of fun, especially when it comes to speakers, technology. I mean, that's one of the things I love about the business I'm in is the technology business is, it's always fun to see the newest thing and the greatest thing coming out. And, it's always advancing just quicker and quicker and all the toys and gadgets and everything. So it's a great business to be in.
Oh, it's fantastic. And it's kind of a little secret industry. The joke in the industry is if you go to a family picnic and somebody in the family asks you what you do and you explain it, they're like, well, what is that? And, you work with Best Buy? No, it's kind of different.
With Best Buy.
Kind of different.
Are you one of those guys who works in the aisle with the blue shirt? Yeah, I mean, you guys are in the high pro end sort of audio-visual stuff. So you guys aren't selling like... I don't have a joke for that. I wanted to pick on some different makers, but I can't think of the cheapest makers right now.
Not to offend anybody.
Yeah, you're not working with Panasonic. So I'm just being mean to Panasonic. That's not right. So anyway, yeah, I mean, you get to work with the latest stuff. I mean, I love going to the CES show every year and seeing all the cool stuff. The Infocom show is, of course, one of the I think the largest audiovisual or largest next to CES. I don't know.
IC show over in Europe. Infocom's a participant in that, but that's become really huge.
Yeah. So technology is going a lot of crazy places, and now we're dealing with stuff like 4K and I think 8K is next or something. You can probably tell me better than I can tell you about that. But give us a rundown on KramerAV.com. Tell us about those guys, what you guys are up to. Maybe give us some lowdown on the show too from Infocom.
Sure. Sure. Well, Kramer's been in the pro AV business since 1981. We have a founder, and he's still in charge of the company, Dr. Kramer. Dr. Kramer has got a degree in pharmaceutical biology, and he's like, well, if I want to use this degree, I'm going to have to leave my country. And he didn't want to do that. He's over there in Israel. So he had built this little box for his TV because he wanted to adjust the color, tint, and brightness on his own personal TV. And he built a little box that allowed him to like wipe half the screen over, make the adjustments. They would show up on half the screen. And when he got it the way he wanted, he would take it. And essentially that box was then publicized in Playboy magazine at the time as a must-have for men in whatever year, 1983 or whatever. And that little box then led to a company that has several thousand SKUs. And here we are some, I don't know, 38 years later.
That's awesome. So pretty much technology that's started out in Israel and stuff. There's a lot of great technology that comes out of Israel. The Waze app, I know there's VR, AR coming out. A lot of technology over the last, they almost kind of were like the second Silicon Valley there for a while. Early about 10 years ago when, Silicon Valley was really starting to rage with all the different stuff they were doing. And I've always been amazed at the technology that comes out of there. It's quite a lot of stuff that comes out of just a little country when it comes down to it.
Yeah, it sure does. And he was at kind of the forefront of that way back on. So
that Playboy story is kind of funny because I do remember the day, and I don't think that day is possible anymore because I think now you just have the Tinder app. But I do remember there was a day where if you wanted to get the chicks, you had to have that hot stereo for your party house, and you had to, because if you didn't have the good stereo, you probably or the Corvette, you probably weren't getting, you're probably going to end up lonely all your life, having two dogs. Wait, I'm there now. But yeah, that stereo was part of the whole scene, I guess, if you will. Right now, millennials are going, what the heck is he talking about?
It's funny. It's making a comeback. If you don't have a stereo with giant tubes on it, vacuum tubes these days, it's like, it's making a comeback. All that classic analog stuff.
Yeah. And people love record players. Like we're getting record players to view still on the Chris Voss Show. And I'm like, what? You're still a thing? But it is evidently from what I understand, records never died. Like CDs died, tapes died, 8-tracks died. I still have some of those. I can't remember what was before 8-tracks, 45s and LPs. But evidently record sales never really died. They just stayed stable. Yeah. And so now you can go, and the only thing that sucks about that is the cost of the record now is pretty darn expensive. Record. I was looking at some records the other day at where was I? Electronic Fries, and I'm like, man, I remember when records were a lot cheaper than that, man. I mean, that gets in the sun, it's just gonna melt. What the hell? I don't want to pay $500 million for that. Plus, it's gonna get scratched. I know it because that's how I am.
And get static. Yeah, exactly. But hey, if you want to play your Led Zeppelin and your ELO albums backwards so you can hear the hidden messages, you need a record player. So
sweet Satan. Yeah, I did that actually. I took the tapes back when I was a kid and I programmed them. So let's get back to the Infocom show. You guys produce a ton of pro AV products, and I tried listing these a few times, but you really need to go to KramerAV.com and check out all the product categories they have: presentation systems, switches and matrix extenders, distribution amplifiers, wireless presentation, AV over IP, audio, scalers and converters, control management, multi-viewers and video walls, accessories and AV tools. I don't know if we have enough time on the show just to say all this stuff. Cables, room, KV. Wow. You guys make everything. I mean, the list is amazing. And you guys have 4K at 60 frames per second products all the way down to VGA. So there you go. I didn't know VGA was even still a thing either.
It is. It absolutely is. Yeah.
Wow, man. USB, Ethernet, RS, KNet, IR, relay, RS-422. Right now, anybody who's in the audio-visual business is starting to get excited, just me talking about all that stuff. So you guys had a big show. What were some of the fun things or some of the things that came out of the Infocom experience you guys had with your booth there?
Well, it's usually always about the new products. That's the thing with Infocom. It's like, has always been a launching pad for new products for the manufacturers, all your dealer integrators and hopefully a bunch of end users in the same place at the same time. Some of the stuff that one of the trend that Kramer is involved in the most right now is the solutions that we sell. You just listed a whole bunch of stuff, and historically we were a box company. We had a box that solved every problem or every need or performed a specific function you needed done, and that's who we were. But the AV industry is kind of morphing, and the solutions that we're selling now, they're more software based. So basically what's happening is we have these independent things like wireless presentation and collaboration, which is software. We put it in a box because the pro AV industry is familiar with that way, but we don't have to put it in a box, but we do. And then we have Kramer Control we just came out with recently, which is a cloud control system, and actually Sony's putting that into every professional Bravia monitor they sell, but we'll come back to that in a little bit. And then we have Kramer Network, because if you're going to put your AV stuff on the network, which is the way that we do things now, you want to be able to get out and see it and control it. The IT managers are in charge now, and that's what they're used to. That's what they demand. So when we have all these little solutions that are becoming software based, what we're trying to do is move to a future where it's one platform and you can get all that functionality as you need it from one piece of software. So at the show, the primary thing this year we were showing is how we were taking a solution. We may have used to sell you A and B to do different things, but now we can take B and make it a part of A. So now you can get A, and oh, by the way, you've also got B. So it's this kind of doubling up on increasing the functionality, making multifunctional solutions is what we were primarily showing this year.
That's awesome. Can I get C and D too?
Say that again.
Can I get C and D too?
Yes, you can. That's what we're moving to.
I want all my ABCs. It's kind of like my ravioli. I like all the little letters on there and the Chef BRD. Yeah, it's just amazing all the different stuff you have. And you guys even had, I guess, one of the sons of the Kramer family is a rock star or a heavy metal rock star.
Yeah, well, he's now working for Kramer, but he was a heavy metal guitarist, a very famous one, and record producer. And he's Dr. Kramer has 3 sons. This is one of them, and he coerced him into coming to the company, and he's in charge of our audio products. Now, at Kramer, we basically break our product line down into, I'll just use the expression, bags. We got like 4 bags of product. We're about to have 5, and we have traditional AV signal management, which is all the presentation switchers, distribution amplifiers, range extenders. We have wireless presentation and collaboration. We have control. And we also have installer solutions, cables, table boxes that, you put the cables in and somebody can just flip the lid over and plug in at the table. And we're now about to have audio. So it's going to be becoming about 5 different bags of stuff that we sell. It's good news, bad news, because we compete with some people who only pick one bag and sell it. And we have to be, we've got all 5 of them. So, but we can provide you with a complete solution other than the display and the source. We've got everything else.
One of the products that you guys had was, I think, a 4K 60 frames per second product that you guys are featuring there.
Well, we have a whole range of those. What we did is we made a commitment to take the entire line of traditional AV signal management products and as we to revamp them, to introduce new models that are only full 4K, 444, 60 hertz. So yeah, we had a whole bunch of those we were showing at the show.
Yeah, I'm looking at the one that's on your website, the KDS-8 4K 60 frames per second 444 receiver for streaming. Wow, that thing looks pretty freaking awesome. So
now you've taken us to a very important point in the conversation. AV over IP versus traditional Pro AV, where you come in and lay in proprietary highways and like HDMI and HD-based-T, and you have giant matrix switchers to do the switching. Well, the new way to do that, and they're coexisting in the market right now, is AV over IP. And when you're doing AV over IP, Kramer's offering a full family of solutions. There's H.264 stuff, so that could be your, if the latency is not an issue and prices, then you go with that. There's JPEG 2000 devices, and if you're in room and you don't want to go full 4K 444, that's a perfect solution. And then of course you've just mentioned the full the KDS 8, which is the top of the line 4K 444. So if you want to use get maximum image quality across your network, then you're going to go with the 8s, and they're a little more expensive. It's a family of product that we offer.
That's amazing, man. Who usually uses a product like that? What's sort of the end user consumer that uses that?
So it really can be anybody. So we have a training facility in our building that we purchased that are at New Jersey headquarters for Kramer US. And we purchased about 2012, 2013. We got this nice 50-seat, beautiful 50-seat training facility. And we recently took out our matrix switcher that we had in there and all the wiring and cabling that was proprietary, and we put in the KDS 6 models, which is the mid-range I was talking about there. We put that in, and our head of technology budgeted 3 days for 3 guys to make that transition, and it took 3 hours.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and as a result, we got a half a rack that used to be filled that's now available. Since this kind of AV over IP is PoE, power over Ethernet, we have a whole strip of outlets in the rack that now are empty and available, because before it was filled up. The room that the equipment's in no longer makes a bunch of noise because all those bigger machines had fans. And we can add a display or a source anywhere in the building we want with ease. So, AV over IP is a wonderfully flexible. It's going to be the future of our business. But some applications today are still better off with the proprietary technology. Others are going this way. And probably the one that it's not necessarily a traditional pro AV application that fits the best is sports bars. And you got a couple of decoders for your direct TV or whatever, and then a 40 TVs. An AV over IP solution is really the ideal way to go with that.
That is awesome, because when you're spreading that around, I know that over the years we've reviewed a lot of HDMI extenders and DisplayPort units, and I know they're used a lot in different things. The thing about the Infocom show, if no one has gone to that before, it's a huge audio video show, and so now the big thing is these video walls, these big presentation things that you see, and a lot of them, they can put them together in pieces, and they just put these like little brick chunks, these little square by squares, and they form a giant wall. And then of course they have the technology to make all the images move seamlessly across them, like you're watching one big screen, but it's like a screen that started out in little pieces. And some of the stuff you guys do help make all that functionality work, and is really cool. And it's kind of funny. I grew up from the day and age where you went to a bar to have some beers and meet some chicks. But nowadays, when I see all these different technologies that are out there, it's like, holy crap! Your local beer bar is now the high-end technology. Shared screens and everything else, and you got to be watching the game and doing the thing, and entertaining people just goes to a whole new level at that point.
It sure does. It sure does. We also have there's a casino out in Washington State. I can never pronounce the name right. It's like Tulalip Casino. And that casino has like 80 encoders and like 140 decoders. And basically the entire casino's digital signage, and it's all digital signage that tells you where to go and what to do and what's happening throughout the entire casino, is all an AV over IP solution.
Wow, man. Wow. I remember the days when they just used to put like a little sign, you say, go over there. Yeah. But, people want to be entertained, and they're so used to the experience of, getting great video on their phones now. It used to be that was hard to do with getting video on your phones. And they're so used to having, seeing this entertainment brought to them in so many different formats. That's what they expect everywhere they go. They're like, you must entertain me, and you must have really cool screens and really cool digital entertainment going on, and that'll keep my interest and everything else.
Yep.
Yeah. So you guys have been around for, I couldn't remember, it's like 30, 40 years or something like that?
Yeah, Dr. Kramer started the company in 1981, so 38 years.
38 years. Wow, that's crazy, man. And you guys have more than 38 products, that's for sure. Global warranty friendly tech support. If you haven't checked it out, go to Kramer av.com. You can see all the different stuff they have there. Hopefully we'll be reviewing some of this stuff. Wireless presentation, collaboration. How much is software? You talked a little bit about this. You touched on it where you're talking about how software is really kind of taken over. You're moving into the cloud, different things like that. How much of this stuff do you see in like the near future, say over 20 years, is going to be more and more software based as opposed to hardware based?
Well, I think that in maybe 5 to 10 years, you will buy a piece of software and put it on a server, or buy it on a server, and then connect it to your network, and it'll have all your control in there. It'll have all your wireless presentation and collaboration capabilities in there. It'll be able to switch sources on your network, look out in your network, push firmware updates to all your products that live out throughout your building or even in the world. So it's all going to be networked, and it's all going to be driven by software. And I don't know if that's 5 years or 10 years, but that's the direction we're heading in. At one point, if you got a display and a source like a laptop or something, it's just going to be about decoding or encoding the video at the source or the destination. And H.264 is a software codec, so that might even be software too.
Yeah, everything will just be codec to death. I forget what I think it was was it Watson or IBM, but there's some sort of rule of how everything just keeps getting smaller and smaller. Yep. And faster and better, and it just keeps compounding where it just gets more crazier. And I'm still working on getting a 4K TV, and I think now it's starting to there's talk about 8K, and we can't even see in 8K. Well, I don't think we can see in 4K. When it comes down to it, it just looks really good.
8K, the infrastructure required for 8K is going to be a challenge. 8K might be more of a specialized industrial medical type of thing. Who knows? Maybe I'm selling it short, but there's also a good enough factor. And in every market, there's a certain point where everything is like good enough. And 1080p is pretty darn good. 4K is even better. So who knows? That might be good enough, and then that other rest stuff becomes specialized.
My biggest problem I'm having is as I get older, my eyesight's going. So I have the bifocal contacts now and all that sort of good stuff. So I'm not sure if 8K is really going to help me when I'm sitting on the porch telling old stories, rocking in my chair, which is much like what I do now. So you guys probably target a lot of different audiovisual professionals, people that are rig operators, in the field, and they go in and set these up for different companies. You guys have training there at your guys' office. You guys do where people can come train, learn the business and stuff. It's got to be a fun business because you guys are so diverse in so many different things. So you can't really get bored with one product.
No, you never get bored. That's a fact. And, and all this stuff moving to the network has just created a new challenge. There's an old side comic that I like to refer to a lot. If you remember the Far Side comics, and it was a picture of a dog on a high wire over like in a circus tent with a crowd underneath. And he's juggling some cats, and he's doing a hula hoop, and he's got a vase on his head. And the caption reads something to the effect of, suddenly Rex realized he was an old dog and this is a new trick. Well, that's kind of where we're at in our industry right now. We're a lot of old dogs, and this networking IT stuff is a new trick. And it's really, really exciting. It's a challenge, but it's exciting.
Now, managing a company with this many different products. So we talk a lot about entrepreneurism, leadership on the Chris Voss Show. How much of a challenge is it to have this many products and you're overseeing them as the CEO, and you're trying to, make all those plates spin at the same time and balance everything?
It's a challenge, and it's a challenge on a couple of different levels. As I mentioned earlier, it's a challenge on the level that some of our competitors are only carrying one bag. And so every time they go visit an integrator to try and convince them to sell their stuff, that's all they're talking about. When we're going in, we're carrying 5. But it's also a challenge from the support side, and that challenge is becoming exponentially more difficult, again, because of these networks. When you have a box and you plug it in and it's not working, troubleshooting is fairly easy, straightforward. When you got the network involved, now it's a different story, and you need specialized people with specialized capabilities, and a conversation which might have used to last 15 minutes with a customer now might last an hour or 45 minutes as you're troubleshooting every aspect of that network.
Yeah, anything that can go wrong with the network when it comes down to it. You're like, Have you tried turning it off and then turning it back on again? That would be my thing all the
Troubleshooting
time.
step number one. Yeah, a little insulting sometimes to the customer, but that is absolutely step number one.
But sometimes it does work, you know.
Yeah.
It's like that's sometimes my Windows 10 computer is the same way. I'm like, yeah, I'll be like, what's going on with this thing? And turns out there's some update that's come down from Windows, which of course,
You know who that drives crazy? They hey, turn it off and turn it is my wife. Because she's not a technologist by any stretch, and she's like, that can't just fix it. It's a computer. It shouldn't even have to do that. What is it like? And you're like, well, I don't know, honey. Somehow or another, it gets stuck.
Yeah. That was the problem I used to have with my ex-wife. I was turning her off more than I was turning her on, and that was kind of one of the problems. So it's not only a technology thing, but evidently a human thing. But I don't have any further jokes for that other than, I don't know, it costs a lot of money in diamonds whenever I didn't want to turn her off. So anyway, but technology, turning it off and turning you can check it out, guys. You can go to KramerAV.com. That's KramerAV.com and see all the different products that they have on there. So anything you want to announce? Are you guys going to be at CES? Do you guys go to the CES show?
No, CES is more of the
consumer,
residential / consumer side of the consumer side is a better choice of words. Yeah, no, we're strictly professional AV, and so that's where we live.
The fun of these big shows is just crazy. All the walking you do, the 3D. I don't know how you guys do it, where you guys stand in a booth for 2 or 3 days and talk to these people. I mean, it's crazy enough when I have to walk around, do booth interviews, and I'm talking to people. Of course, I'm walking, but I actually think that walking is easier than standing in the booth all day. Like, so I always feel bad for all the people that we do booth interviews at all the shows we do, because they're just, you kind of have to stand in this corral. You're kind of corralled in this little booth, and you're just like, I'd really like to leave and go get a burger and a fries, and then not have to talk to all these smelly people.
Exactly.
And then
I say exactly, but I don't mean that.
Oh, well, I said it. You didn't. But I'm one of the smelly people, actually. So there's that. It's always crazy, and the biggest challenge at these shows is not getting sick. Like, I don't know, I'm pretty good because I only have to meet a few people at the show, and I don't go running around shaking hands. But if you're working a booth, you're like shaking hands all the time, and I would like be slathering myself in that alcohol hand wipe stuff at all times.
Yep.
I'd have a hazmat suit on. In fact, I think next time I fly, we're wearing a hazmat suit, because that seems to be.
You weren't feeling well at Infocom. I hope you're, clearly you're feeling better now.
I'm doing better. I had walking pneumonia, and I still have a cough. I'm starting to wonder if maybe I did some damage to my lungs or something. So I don't know. But in fact, my doctor that I saw for the what's that Z-Pack they gave you? I said to her, I said, I'm not. I had been on a plane to AWE in Silicon Valley, I think a couple weeks before, and that's where I picked it up. And I said, I saw this gal there wearing one of those masks that I see them wear in Hong Kong and China, where the air is really bad. And I said, I'm thinking about doing that on the plane, but I know it looks so weird. And she's like, I do that. And I'm like, wait, now if the doctor's doing that, I need to start doing that. But Infocom was a huge show for you guys. Was there anything there that you saw that really stuck out to you that you were like, holy crap, that's pretty awesome?
Oh, well, from other manufacturers, the booth right next to us, and I'm not going to remember the name of the manufacturer, but they had this giant monster curved, you described it before. They took all these monitors and they put them side by side so they look like they're one big piece, and it was huge, and it had this curve, and they had this content that was like you were going through space or something. And
oh, wow.
It's just what they can do with monitors now, and especially this was curved because they were OLED and they can curve them a little bit. Yeah, and this was just amazing, beautiful. I don't know what purpose it serves, but it was entertaining and gorgeous.
Yeah, I've seen that at CES. I think Samsung's had like huge curve walls in their booth and stuff like that, and of course now they've got the there's the fold-out phone, but I think somebody had a curve phone. I think But some of that stuff and the technology where it's no longer that two-dimensional flat where it comes out at you, and it can create a lot of different sort of optical illusion where you're just like, whoa, I think I'm in something. And you're like, no, I'm just standing in front of it for TV. But it changes the experience and the dynamic sort of tactile function you have with it, where you're like, wow, this is, really awesome. You feel like you're surrounded. You feel like you're in a reality environment, basically, without having a VR headset on.
It's the experience, and it is cool.
And so that's going to be awesome. Anything you want to talk about? Maybe what's coming down the line? Give us some hints about what the future, maybe some products you're launching or working on, or
absolutely. So I mentioned the audio category before. We got a really excellent audio DSP that we're working on, and that will be available in the next couple of months. On that wireless presentation and collaboration side, the VIA lineup is we feel industry leading, and we've added some new features. Included digital signage capability. Remember, I said the A and B. If you can buy A and get B, so we've included digital signage capability at no charge. So when you're not actually doing a wireless presentation, you can run whatever you want on the screens. Think of a classroom, and you're having now the ability to have a continuous information flow on that screen until the class starts, and then it's wireless presentation and sharing. And Kramer Control is our cloud-based control solution that's very unique in the marketplace, and we've made an arrangement with Sony where every Sony Bravia monitor sold into the professional marketplace is going to have our intelligence embedded in it. So you could run the software from the monitor and then now have a control processor in the room. So the control will get into the room because it's in the monitor, and you just kind of activate it. And now you can control the room, lower the lighting, raise and lower the shades, and it's all going to be done from the brain that lives in the monitor. Wow.
Everything's going to be all centralized. I'm looking at your wireless presentation collaboration stuff, the VIA family of wired and wireless presentation on KramerAV.com. This is pretty cool. We actually had some products sent to us from some of our people like you guys we featured at the Infocom show. And basically you can use this VIA product in like conference rooms. So if you have like multiple people that want to take and talk about something, and maybe they're editing, or maybe they're just presenting their ideas, pitching, or they're collaborating on like the sales function or report or whatever it is, that they're in there discussing, and they can literally sit on their laptops and take turns controlling the screen, whether it's a projector or it's an HDMI TV or some sort of a device that way, monitor. They can literally control and share and take turns without having to sit and be like, okay, now I got to get up and I got to put my slides in the unit now.
Yeah, exactly right. What's Chris, I'll tell you, when we first came out with VIA, it had more of that, what I'll call collaboration capability than any of the competitors, what you just described. And we're like, okay, well, we're going to stand out in the marketplace, so we're going to focus on that. And the analogy we used at the time to market that line of products was from the movie Crocodile Dundee. You remember that movie?
Yeah. Now I'm really middle-aged.
He ends up in New York City, and they're walking down the street, and they get accosted, and the guy's got a knife, and he's trying to mug him. And then he reaches behind, Crocodile Dundee reaches behind his back and says, "You think that's a knife?" And he pulls out this giant monster knife. Yeah, and he goes, so we thought, okay, well, that's how we're going to market this product. You think you got collaboration? No, we're kicking your butt with collaboration. Only problem is very few people actually use collaboration. I'm just being honest here. We got it, and we got it. It's better than anybody else, but most people want to get connected and present. So we have both of those, and we've made both of those a priority. And you want to get connected and present, you can do that real easily with VIA and do it really well. But if you want collaboration, we got that too, and you can do exactly what you described before. Have an interactive editing session with a bunch of people in a room at the same time.
And a lot of my friends and audience and people that are influencers are speakers, book authors, and stuff. And one of their biggest complaints I always hear from them is being able to have their media be used and work with the collaboration media that they're using at the shows and events they go to, so they can have their slide presentation go and work well. And some of the stuff that I saw from Infocom like this would be great for that, in being able to very seamlessly take their laptop, get it projected, and plug and
Yep.
play, and you don't have to sit there and try and fiddle with it and all that
Yep.
stuff. My speaker friends, they hate it when they can't get their slides to communicate with whatever the events media is, and they can't, it can't work. And if they have to give a speech without their slides, they're almost like a fish out of water, because they're just like,
I hear you. And
And
one of the beautiful features of that product is actually what we call view main display. So say you're in an auditorium and there's a main screen, and anybody in the room can connect and present, or the instructor can control who's connecting and presenting. But at the same time, on your own personal device, you can choose view main display. So if that screen is at the front of the room and you're in that last row of seats, you can have that same information right wirelessly right there on your own device. So that's really that's a very highly used feature.
And then a lot of you guys' products have great quality, great warranties, and you guys are also environmentally friendly, if I can learn to say that.
Yeah.
So that's good. Yeah, you guys work to reduce and prevent industrial waste and other forms of pollution. I know that's really big for a lot of people, especially for like schools. Schools and companies too. They have green initiatives they have to keep. So when they do business with companies like yourselves, they need to have those formats fit in their bid processes, all that stuff they do. So that's always important as well. Anything else we need to know about KramerAV.com?
No, listen, if you, like I said earlier, if you have a display and a source in a professional environment and you want to get the signal from the source to the display, we make everything that you could possibly want that would help you do that. Anything in the middle. We got it all. We're one step. We can provide you a solution, a complete solution for that type of application. So check us out.
And you guys make everything. Hold it. You guys really have to go see the website. It's just like, it's a candy store for, I don't know, diabetics or something. I don't know. It's got everything there. I don't know. It's got everything. Whatever you can dream up, they probably have it. And if you haven't dreamt it up, they probably have it too. So be sure to check it out. Go to KramerAV.com. There's some other videos we did where I think we spoke with you during the Infocom show. And then I think you guys won some awards there too, didn't you? Or you've won some awards, I know, at a few different shows.
Yeah, we got some best of show. We got best of show for our VIA Campus Plus product, which is one of the VIA family of models in the VIA family. And over at ISE in February, we won an award for something we called our AD ring adapter. Whenever you do go in a conference room, if somebody needs to plug something in, there's always not the connector necessary to make the transition from whatever laptop you have. So we make this ring you can secure in the room, and then it's got every one of those adapters on it, and they can't be taken off, so nobody can walk out with it. So that's what we won an award for over in ISE back in February.
Nice. Well, we certainly appreciate you coming on the show, Clint. It's been a lot of fun. Well, we should have you on. What's the next big show you guys are doing, so people can take a look for you guys there?
Traditionally, we do Infocom in the US, and we do ISE over in Europe in February, and we do versions of the Infocom show throughout the world. But for the US, it's usually Infocom.
All right. Well, check them out at the next show if you guys get a chance, and all that good stuff wherever they are in the world. Be sure to go to the website at KramerAV.com. Thanks, Clint, for joining us on the show today. We certainly appreciate you. We certainly appreciate, of course, our wonderful audience for tuning in. Thanks for being here. Be sure to retweet the show, share it with your friends, all that good stuff. Be sure to go all the different places you can get on the syndication. Go to ChrisVossPodcastNetwork.com or the CVPNNetwork.com, or actually it's CVPN.com. There's too many. I feel like one of those TV stations, CBS.com. The more you know. Anyway, thanks for tuning in, guys. We certainly appreciate it, and we'll see you next time.